Curling, twisting, combing, brushing, protective styling, patting, washing, wetting, drying, blow drying, flat ironing. I used to do it in the past. Our hair has damage. A massive thank you to my members, especially the new ones that have recently joined the membership. There is heaps of videos for you guys to watch. So welcome to my inner circle. If you are on the fence about whether to join memberships or not, it is worth it. You get to see content sooner than everyone else. You get priority responding to comments. You get personalized posts and lots of other perks. So check it out. Everybody's hair is damaged. It's a huge claim. And I'm going to explain myself very hastily without wasting too much of your time, because I know people are ready to come for me in the comment section. But it's time to actually just be realistic with a lot of things in this life, in our journey as naturalistas. And I'm going to be one of the first people to say, look, let's actually just look at the facts. When I say everyone's hair is damaged, I mean particularly type 4 hair, okay? This channel is about type 4 hair, more specifically type 4C hair. Of course, I talk about 4A, 4B as well, but generally type 4 and 4C to be more specific. Now, when we talk about damage, what is damage, right? There is damage that can happen towards the end of the hair where there is thinning at the ends. There could be, single strand knots. There could be split ends, there could be mid-shaft splits. There could be heat damage that you get, particularly with excessive use of heat, where now you really get the curl pattern disintegrating, the natural curl pattern becoming looser because of the use of heat. And then you also have the loss of elasticity, particularly, when hair has been damaged quite a bit, then you lose that elasticity. There is a spectrum, okay? Every hair is not damaged to the same extent. So someone might have a little bit of damage, someone might have medium-sized damage, and someone might have excessive damage. When I say everyone's hair is damaged, I mean all of us have some kind of damage to our hair, at least one strand, because of the reasons that I'm going to be discussing in this video. So in other words, you have some form of the things that I've just outlined: a split end, a single strand knot, splitting at the mid shaft, a little bit of loss in the curl pattern, etc. Now, when you consider type 4 hair, it is known to be naturally dry because the majority of type 4 naturals are actually high porosity. I've discussed this issue at length in other videos. Go check that out if you've got an argument or a bone to chew with me about this. However, most type 4 naturals are high porosity. That means that their cuticle is naturally raised, which means that it's more prone to friction, damage, rough, on the surfaces, tagging, tangling, all that. So just the nature of type 4 hair makes it prone to damage or easy to damage, so to speak. And I've also talked about how each curl in the kinky hair is actually representative of a raised cuticle and a weak spot in the hair, which means that you're then even more prone to damage than even other hair types because of that structure within the hair. So let's look at reasons why your hair is damaged and what are the things that have actually caused all of us to have some kind of damage in our hair. The first one is aging, okay? None of us are newborns. We have been around for a while. I've been around for 30 plus years. I've been at my hair for the longest time, forever. Our hair has damage simply from aging, simply from living. You have some kind of damage because you have lived a life, okay? So unless you sort of just cover your hair in a hat or some kind of protective stuff forever and ever and never deal with it, never touch it, never handle it, then yeah, maybe you can claim undamaged hair. But if you're like most of us that actually maintains your hair, then you will have some kind of damage. Heat. Who hasn't used heat? Who hasn't used heat ever? Unless you big chopped the hair that was heat, like that had some kind of experience with heat. But if you've blow dried your hair, flat ironed your hair, been out in the sun, what have you, like, you have some kind of degradation in your hair's integrity because of heat. Styling, I already spoke about twisting, turning, combing, brushing, what have you. Styling is actually one of the most damaging practices that we do on our hair that actually causes damage, causes us, you combing your hair, you're causing single strand knots, you know, there is some kind of splitting that happens in the hair, particularly with combs that have got seams that you might not be able to see as you're doing it, but the hair is somewhat, it has gone through some kind of damage due to the styling that you've been doing throughout your life. General wear and tear, which kind of plays into aging. Rubbing, it's like sleeping on a pillow that is not a silk pillow. I did that for years, decades even. When I didn't know about silk pillowcases, that rubbing causes damage. I spoke about Velcro in another video with a friend of mine where she spoke about, you know, traveling and maybe leaning back in a chair and boom, you know, Velcro and just pulls your hair, you know, rubbing onto surfaces. A tree got stuck here, or a branch, you hit yourself some, like there's like living, general wear and tear, living in the world will cause some kind of damage on the hair. Chemicals. Whether it be dye, whether it be, you know, harsh chemicals within daily products, particularly shampoos, you know, things like chelating shampoos. I mean, there is so much stuff in our products today that is supposed to be doing good for our hair, but some of it is actually damaging to the hair. I've already spoken about UV, but if you've been out in the sun, gone to the beach, sun basked, yeah, your hair has some kind of damage from the UV. The same way the skin has got some kind of damage from UV. We age. You know, you can see the evidence. Okay? I'm not a newborn. I don't have perfect skin. My skin has seen some sunlight, okay, which is good for the skin, but it also does cause damage. Same thing with the hair. And there's actually a study, particularly with UV, that shows that when people of African descent were allowed to go into the sun for a certain period, their hair became, their cuticle became even further raised, okay? So it's already high porosity, but then it was raised, the cuticles raised even more with sun exposure. So for someone like myself, who grew up in Africa, like we didn't wear hats walking to school back and forth, like we're in the sun a lot. And I have wondered why the crown of my hair struggles to grow hair, like to get length retention. I have struggled with dryness there, breakage, brittleness at the crown here. Hello, it's the topmost. The sun hits here the most. It's the harshest right there at the center. Number one. Number two, it's the topmost of your body. So gravity obviously takes blood, you know, where the gravity is taking it. So this suffers more because it's not getting as much nutrition. So that's the reason some of us whose crowns actually do not thrive, because we've just had a lot of sun exposure there. Now, do I need to say, but detangling, combing the hair, causes damage. Point blank, period. Causes tears, it causes single strand knots, split ends, you name it. That whole process of wetting, washing the hair, deep conditioning, rubbing products, etc., drying the hair, that opening and closing of the cuticle over time does actually cause damage. Curling, twisting, combing, brushing, protective styling, patting, washing, wetting, drying, blow drying, flat ironing. I used to do it in the past. Our hair has damage. So where does this leave us? Cut the hair or just wear a silk bonnet forever? Nope. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna continue enjoying our hair. We're gonna embrace our hair. We're gonna, you know, love on our hair. And these are some tips to help you maintain a healthy head of hair within the constraints and the understanding that you do have some level of damage to a certain extent. Bear in mind that damage does not necessarily mean that the entire shaft of the hair is damaged. It could just mean the ends or the mid shaft or the base. But you could have, you know, healthy ends and maybe not so great mids, or vice versa. Like damage doesn't have to be all through the hair shaft for it to be considered damage. It could just be a small portion of the hair in a few places in the hair. But guaranteed, you have at least one strand of hair that is not copacetic. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to implement good hair practices, good habits, hydration, moisturizing, protein treatment, protective styling, detangling gently. You know it. Let's do that. I've done so many videos on moisture. Do not allow your hair to dry. This whole, oh, I just wait, I listen to my hair, and then when I feel that it's dry, then I wash it. Oh, when I feel that it's dirty, then I wash it. Yeah, when I feel like it's dry, I wash it. Or when I feel that it's dry, then I moisturize it. Like, don't allow the hair to be dry before you do something, because I've found that if you allow your hair to dry, that encourages single strand knots. So don't allow the hair to dry at all. Like, moisturize it before it's dry. Protein treatment. I feel like type 4 naturals, even the protein sensitive naturals, should be doing protein treatments. I've done a video talking about true proteins that every natural should be implementing in their routine. It's a matter of just deciding how often you're going to do it, depending on how your hair feels, the needs of your hair, etc. But each of us need to have protein. Protein fills in the gaps that are damaged, holes within the hair. That protein just goes and fills it up and gives the hair better integrity. So protein treatments. Use quality tools. If you use tools on your hair, do not buy cheap. Assess your tools. If it has seams, throw it away. It's not worth it. However, I recommend hands. I actually believe that type 4 naturals should not be using combs. Like, just use your hands. Like, there is so many things that your hands can do that a comb will not be able to do. I know this is not for everybody, but combs, just no matter what I do, like, combs have not done me good. They give me a good detangle, but when you really think about it, untangling a tangle is not something a comb can do. It's really your mind and your fingers to try and get that through, manipulate it, and that usually happens with the hands, and it's quite a meticulous process. It's not something that just happens with a brush or a comb. That's just me. Do what you may with this information, but that's that. Eliminate heat. There's people that have come to me with the videos around heat is the enemy. They're like, heat is not the enemy. It just depends how you use it and knowing how to use it. Look. This is my experience. Heat has never done me any good. It stretches the hair, yes. It helps with the single strand knots. Single strand knots, because the hair is stretched. However, the dryness and the split ends that then come as a result, and the breakage from the blow drying, just doesn't match up. Okay? The balance is not balancing. So for me, heat is the enemy. Just eliminate heat. If you're going to use it, of course, use a heat protector, but for me, no heat. Bond builders. This is relatively new, something I have tried. The only one I've tried is the Olaplex, and I'm thinking to actually include it a little bit more regularly in my routine. Maybe a few times a year, actually not that regular, but it's new technology, but it helps repair the inner portions of our hair. You don't have to go crazy like that if you don't want to, but if you're someone that just wants to, give your hair the best opportunity to keep its integrity, then bond builders will be great. I know K18 is one, and Olaplex, of course, is another one. Maybe Curl Smith, or is Curl Smith protein? I may be confusing things, but there's options out there for bond builders. Protective styling. When I say protective styling, I mean protective styles with your own hair. If you use synthetic hair, I've done a separate video talking about all that, how to implement that, what I recommend when it comes to synthetic hair. However, I recommend twists with your own hair, braids with your own hair, cornrows with your own hair. Okay, pop a wig on if you have to, but then that's that. Another style that I will be exploring, this one is motivated by Precious Fro, I think she's called. I've seen videos similar to this on the internet, but she's the one who really brought it to my attention, and that is crocheting the back of your hair and leaving a small portion on the front. That way you rock, loose hair, or hair that actually mimics your own hair. But you still have the most of your hair protected and still have a realistic style. I thought that was brilliantly done. So I'll be trying that out at some point. Gentle handling of the hair. You guys know, handle like silk. I handle one little twist at a time. Twist, twist, twist. Detangle, remove shady hairs, back in the twist, done. This is the best way to retain length. Like, the best is to untangle this small little twist. Untwist, untangle, retwist, done. Move on to the next one. I promise you. Do this on repeat in rotation. Let's talk after. Like, honestly, the length is ridiculous. Just eliminate those combs. You will see what I'm talking about. I feel like detangling puts a lot of pressure for us to finish in a certain time, to have a perfect detangle, etc. And we just end up ripping our hair off with that session, and we just remain in a cycle of not retaining length. So try recycling your parts, try detangling only one little section at a time, going about your business. You don't have to finish now, wear a wig, off you go, and just do it at your own pace. But you're only using your fingers, very gentle. The hair loves it. And when there's glycerin in there and the products and the castor oil, it's so soft. The curls are clumping. It is giving. It is what it is. Lastly is to use sunscreen on the hair. This is not for everybody, and it doesn't have to be straight up sunscreen, but check this out. This is one from Sunbum. I think the first person I heard speaking about hair sunscreen was Latoya Ebony. She does recommend a sunscreen in there, but I think the one that she recommends is one for the scalp. This one I have done some research and it's actually good for the hair. It's actually a leave-in, so it's 3-in-1. I've used it a few times. It's great. It smells great. It actually just feels like a really softening conditioner on the hair, but it also gives you UV protection. So use sunscreen on your hair. Like I said, it's not for everybody. If you don't want to use it, just wear a hat. Even better. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, it's Coily Diaries.